When I was covering the Nelson House fire in August of 2006 in Salem City, when I got to the scene, there were firefighters from pretty much all over the county here. There were not only firefighters from the county, but they called in firefighters from outside of the county, and I believe even firefighters from Delaware came over to assist. It was huge. At one point, probably about 20 or 30 minutes after I had been here, huge plume of smoke just pretty much engulfed all of downtown. Just to watch the firefighters, they didn't seem to need any direction. They just went with it and everybody worked together. It was almost like an extended family out there working together. The Women's Auxiliary came in, was handing water out to everybody who needed it, even myself and all the firefighters, the police, and it's one huge family and everybody works together.
April the 4th, 1963, a tragic day. No lives were lost, but it was a fire here in the town. It destroyed 13 homes, a grocery store, the post office, and a sewing factory, as well as did damage to several of the buildings here at Smith Lumber. And that day we had, naturally, the Quinton Fire Company came to our rescue first, and within minutes the local Salem County Fire Companies, all volunteers, were here that day. It started in the afternoon about 2 o'clock and went on for many hours. And with winds of 60 miles an hour, there were difficult times. And eventually we had 35 fire companies here, and I believe they were all fire companies that were voluntarily. Quinton and Salem County are most grateful for their volunteers. We just cannot operate without them.
Right across the street from our church, Church Street, a couple of years ago there was a fire in a bedroom, a second-floor bedroom. I don't know the cause of the fire, but I know the lady called 911 and immediately the fire companies responded. It was sort of right across the street. And it was very interesting to watch. When I heard the ruckus, I came out of the church and I walked 50 yards and I could watch the whole thing. And as a couple of firemen put a ladder against the porch roof and dragged a relatively small fire hose up to the porch roof and opened the window to this bedroom where the fire was, all of the rest of the firemen were running in the first floor with tarpaulins and covering the belongings of this family, covering the possessions, the sofa and the chairs and so on. They literally carried out some of the more valuable treasures of this family, carried them out to the front porch before they ever turned on the hose and put the fire out. Only took a few minutes to put out the fire. It was on a mattress, and they put out the fire and dragged the mattress out the bedroom window, and I guess all danger was past. At that point, these firemen took the furniture back in the house, helped with the cleanup so that nothing would get damaged, folded up their tarpaulins, and made sure everything was secure before they got back on their fire truck and returned across the street to the firehouse. Not only were they professional and skillful, not only did they prevent any major damage in this home, but they respected the people that lived there, and they respected the property of the people that lived there. And they obviously showed what can only be called neighborliness to the folks. And I was extremely impressed by that. It was above and beyond a call of duty, and I just thought it was a wonderful thing to see.
It's still hard to believe, Dave, as we stand here, the night when we had that horrible fire, September 1st, your mom's birthday.
That's right.
And we came out here, and fire companies from all over Salem County were every place, and really pitched in to work right away, and that was such a blessing to find the volunteers here when I arrived and saw the building engulfed with fire.
And if you will remember, it was a stormy, rainy, windy, just an awful night to be out in the weather for any reason. But to be out here and fighting a fire and putting your life at risk for a building, it really was very impressive. The other thing that struck me that night was the amount of volunteer auxiliary members that were out here and the support, other than firefighters, the folks that were out here making coffee and sandwiches and just being there as moral support. It was really an amazing, amazing night to see how fires are fought here in Salem County and the folks that come out and give of their time.
It was inspirational.
I have the honor of being the city chief of 63 of some of the best guys that I know. And it amazes me to see them do their job on a daily basis on the street, interacting with the people. But what amazes me even more is how the family develops amongst the core group of guys. And to demonstrate that, one of the guys, very active guy, my age, mid-30s, 2 years ago was diagnosed with cancer. And the ordeal that he had to go through, as I'm sure we all know, is emotional. It makes you sick and it makes you weak. And the thought of having to go through that alone is kind of scary. And when I watched it unfold here in the firehouse and how it affected all the other members of the firehouse family, the brotherhood, if you will, was inspiring and is more of why I'm here today, 17 years after I first started, than for the original reasons why I started doing it, was because of the adrenaline rush of riding the fire truck and putting on the gear and going into fires. The firehouse family rallied around the individual who was diagnosed with cancer, and as he was beginning his treatment, every member of the company decided to all come down here one day with him, and we all sat in the engine bay with a couple of hairstylists, and we all shaved their heads, just so he didn't have to do it by himself. That day, when that day started, I had a full head of hair, and since that day, I've decided to just hold on to that emotion, that memory, and I carry that with me as a symbol to me of what the Brotherhood is all about. That firefighter, which is recovered today, thank God, during his ordeal when he was weak and sick, never had to do any yard work, never had to cut his grass, take care of his house, or shovel snow. For the period of time where he was not feeling well or undergoing his treatment, the firehouse family took care of those things for him. It's not just about what we do, but it's actually about who we become. When you join the fire service, you don't just get to do that job, you become part of a family that will take care of you for the rest of your life if you take care of them. And that is all inspiring, and that's why I'm still here 17 years later, and that's why I will never leave.